We have some leaked audio here from The Intercept. It's Hillary Clinton talking to campaign donors in February, and her comments on Bernie supporters are exactly what you'd expect them to be.
Some are new to politics completely. They're children of the Great Recession, and they are living in their parents' basement. They feel that they got their education, and the jobs that are available to them are not at all what they envisioned for themselves. And they don't see much of a future. I met with a group of young black millennials today, and one of the young women said, none of us feel like we have the job that we should have gotten out of college, and we don't believe that the job market is going to give us much of a chance. So that is a mindset that is really affecting their politics. And so if you're feeling that you're consigned to being a barista or, some other job that doesn't pay a lot and doesn't have much of a ladder of opportunity attached to it, then the idea that maybe, just maybe, you could be part of a political revolution is pretty appealing. I mean, I'm still trying to understand the revolution part, because here's how I think about it. And Senator Sanders sort of alludes to this. In order to have the revolution, first we have to take back the Senate and get to 60 votes. Then we've got to take back the House. And that may require some redistricting in order to get people out of safe Republican seats so they can be competitive again. I think we're already in like year 6 or 7 of a 2-year term. So, those of us who understand this, who have been experienced, who have worked in it, know that it's a false promise. But I don't think you tell idealistic people, particularly young people, that they bought into a false promise. It is important to recognize what's going on in this election. Everybody who's ever been in any election that I'm aware of is quite bewildered, because there is a strain of, on the one hand, a kind of populist, nationalist, xenophobic, discriminatory kind of approach that we hear too much of from the Republican candidates. And on the other side, there's just a deep desire to believe that, we can have free college, free health care, that what we've done hasn't gone far enough and we just need to, go as far as, Scandinavia, whatever that means. And half the people don't know what it means, but it is something that they deeply feel. So as a friend of mine said the other day, I am occupying from the center left to the center right. And I don't have much company there because it is difficult when you're running to be president and you understand how hard the job is. I don't want to overpromise. I don't want to tell people things that I know we cannot do. I want to level with the American people and be very clear about the progress I think we can make.
What she's saying there is everything you feared about me as a Bernie supporter is totally true. I occupy the center left to the center right. Okay, so that split the middle of that would be a centrist. So you're a hawkish centrist corporatist who loves the establishment, loves the system, and you're an elitist. And what you're saying there is, come on, you young kids. I mean, look, I get where your feelings are coming from, but you really don't understand how politics works. Leave it to the experts. Leave it to the people who occupy the center left to the center right to do what we know is best for you, because you just don't understand and you just don't know. So it's this pedantic, smug condescension, and that is factually wrong. She's wrong. Your ideology, Hillary Clinton, is wrong. You keep posing it like millennials, they just don't get your high-minded philosophy. No, we get it. We get it perfectly clear and perfectly well, and we dislike it. In fact, we fucking hate it. Because you know what? We're the ones who actually have educated ourselves and learned about history, and we know what movements take in order to get stuff done. We know all the hard work and sweat and tears and, yes, sometimes even blood that goes into it. And you want to smugly dismiss that and literally go after the most basic leftist political goals and declare them unattainable or too hard to get. So, why even try? That Bernie Sanders is so naive for even trying and fighting for the things that the American people, not just millennials, want. Just go my way. Go my way of, well, maybe not give you a tiny percentage of change and you're going to take it and shut the fuck up. So she said it. She's like, this young generation, their politics have been affected by the fact that they're not doing well financially and they don't have the jobs they like. And they think that we can get like free college and free healthcare and that we can be like Scandinavia. And many of these people don't even know what that means. Hillary, why should millennials vote for you if those are the policy goals they believe in and you're admitting up front, I'm not going to fight for it? I already told you, it's unattainable. It's too hard. So, you guys need to come down to reality and let me lead you in my incrementalist way. And she said, these are false promises. I understand they're false promises. Is that what fucking Martin Luther King Jr. said? Oh, okay, I know all you black people want to vote, and you want to get rid of the poll taxes and the literacy tests, and I know that all you want to end segregation, but look, we got to be incrementalist. We got to understand the political reality, and it's so hard. I don't want to make false promises. If you asked anybody in America in 1959, hey, are we gonna have civil rights soon? They would have said, what the fuck? Of course not. This is the natural order of things. White people are first-class citizens. Black people are second-class citizens. That's just how it works. That's what everybody would have said. Hillary Clinton, in that political context, would have said, look, I sympathize with the plight of the black man in America. So I'm on your side, I am. But I'm here to tell you the political reality is too difficult, and I don't want to make false promises and tell you that, like, you're going to be free one day. So maybe we have some sort of a middle path here. Maybe we get it so that you can vote, but you still have segregation, so black people and white people are on separate parts of town, and it is what it is. But I'm just here to burst your bubble and say, the opposition is so strong that what are we going to do? Now, here's the saddest part of it all. As she's asserting millennials don't know how politics works, she's displaying a tremendous ignorance to how politics actually works. Because the reality is, even if you fight with all the power you have, if you put 100% into a given political fight, sometimes even with 100%, you only get incremental change. So let me ask you a question. How much change do you think you're going to get if up front you admit, I'm only going after incremental change? This is why neoliberalism is a ruse. Because you admit up front that you're conceding to the opposition. Hey, I'm coming into the debate letting the Republicans know I half agree with you. So nobody's starting the negotiation from the actual liberal position like single-payer healthcare or universal college and wiping the debt slate clean. Nobody's starting the debate from that position? Well, if nobody's starting the debate from that position, well, then the middle ground is not going to be, a public option, for example. She's the one that fundamentally misunderstands the way politics works. Look at Mandela. Look at MLK. The idea is if you shoot for the stars, you may reach the moon. But Hillary Clinton goes, maybe we try to fly a plane as high as we can get a plane? Well, you're definitely never going to get to the moon that way. You're definitely never going to get to the stars that way. You're definitely not going to get universal healthcare and universal education. And again, you're admitting that. You say, false promise. So don't mock the Scandinavian model when it's not just millennials, by the way. When you go to polling specifics on policy issues, it's the American people. They overwhelmingly agree with Bernie Sanders' philosophy. So you're basically mocking the majority of the country from your establishment elite circles, Hillary. And also this idea, she's like, I don't even understand how the political revolution would work. You child, do you listen to what people are saying? How many times have people from within the political revolution told you, what we're talking about is getting money out of politics and having a Democratic Party that's actually a left-wing party instead of it creeping right and further right and further right and further right? They're telling you that's what it is. You're like, oh, that's too hard. Yeah, so was women's suffrage. Remind me what happened with that again? So was ending prohibition. Remind me what happened with that again? Of course, up front, again, everybody's a cynic. Everybody's skeptical. Everybody's like, it's not going to work. Until it fucking works, because you put in the work. But she's letting us know, I'm not going to be an ally to you in the White House. I'm going to undercut your punk ass. Because I think, oh, you're too pie in the sky. You know, you're basement dwellers. You're fucking baristas. So, and I feel bad for you, but what am I going to do? I mean, I guess we're doomed to not be like Scandinavia. We're doomed not to catch up to the rest of the modern world. And also, I like how she says, she mocks the idea of Democrats taking back the Senate and the House. Because the numbers right now are not in Democrats' favor. She's mocking that idea. Hillary, if you're already giving in to that reality, why should anybody think that you're going to fight hard enough to even try to win it back? Like, well, I mean, come on, we're not going to change the Senate, we're not going to change the House. Certainly, with your philosophy of politics, we ain't going to take it back. But if you have somebody in there that gets people excited, you have somebody in there that pushes for things that the American people agree with, fuck yeah, you can flip it. Of course you can flip it. Much weaker ideologies have flipped it. When the Tea Party came out of nowhere and said, fuck Obama, basically, right-wingers were, oh, yeah, fuck them. And then they ended up taking back the House. So if we had a left-wing equivalent that got people excited about these liberal policies like universal health care, like universal education, like raising taxes on the rich, like the basic things that other modern nations have, if we have people fighting for that, yeah, we can take it back. How many times have I told you guys? The polls are already on our side. Look at gun reform, for example, raising the minimum wage. I mean, over 90% of people want a universal background check. The Republicans filibuster it, and you still can't hammer them and then beat them in the next election? How shitty are you at politics? Again, the minimum wage, 80% of people want to raise the minimum wage. The Republicans stand in the way of that and block it, and you can't hammer away on that issue and make it so that you coast in the next election? You can't do it because you suck at politics. And there's also a very real possibility that you don't even want to win. You don't want actual liberal goals to win. The dream of a black person in South Africa being a free person living under apartheid rule. Vicious, racist, state-sanctioned bigotry. Under that system, you want to talk about a pipe dream? A pipe dream was to ever get rid of apartheid. All we're talking about in the U.S. is us catching up to the rest of the modern nations with healthcare and education and a living wage and stuff like that. And Hillary's like, oh, come on. Oh, please. These millennials. Huh. They're so out there and kooky with us wanting to be just as good as the rest of the modern world. No, you're struggling. You're baristas. You're basement dwellers. I feel bad for you, but let us experts take control here. She's the opposite of inspiring. She's the opposite of a visionary. And she's admitting, I'm going to do the opposite of fight. And the hilarious thing is, in some of her circles, they portray her as just that, a fighter. Does this sound like a fighter to you? No, this sounds like a neoliberal who can't wait to compromise with Republicans, will concede up front, and then there's no hope that we get leftist goals accomplished. She keeps wondering, I don't get it. Why am I bleeding millennial support? Why is my base abandoning me? What is it, 55% of Bernie supporters are like, okay, I guess I'll vote for her. That's got to be like 80% or 90% if you really want to do well in this election. She keeps like, I don't get it. What am I doing wrong? Hillary, you're doing it right now.